I don't know what I really don't know what the Giants are doing. Like their draft was one of the most confusing drafts of any team. I think the most confusing, because at least with the Raiders, I kind of understood what they were fundamentally trying to do. I mean, where do I start? So the draft's all about value, and no one else, no other team was going to draft Daniel Jones at 6. Now, if you draft a quarterback at 6, you have to know, or at least just, this guy has to have a chance at being special. And the thing with Jones is, I didn't hate him on tape. I thought he played well against Clemson. I thought he was plagued by drops. I thought that his line played terribly, and he actually really helped that Duke team. But he's not a special prospect. You need to be a special prospect if you're drafted at 6, especially in a defensively loaded draft. And that's my fundamental issue with this pick. You know, Gettleman said that he fell in love with Daniel Jones after seeing him at the Senior Bowl practices. Well, that's not even a comprehensive evaluation of the guy. Like, how can you be convinced to take someone with the 6th pick when you also could have taken him at 17? I'm just really not sold on the guy. After watching some of his games, like, he gets the ball out quickly, and he's got some admirable traits. Like, he lives underneath. He absolutely lives underneath, and he's pretty accurate underneath. But his arm is just average. It's nothing more, and he has a defined ceiling. And I just have a problem drafting those types of players so high up. If you draft a player in the top 10, he has to have special upside. That's why you're drafting him. And they spent their top draft pick, their top asset from the Odell Beckham trade on Dexter Lawrence, who I liked him personally. He's got some off-field issues. He was caught with Osterine, and that's why he couldn't play in the national championship game. He seems like a good character guy. He's an absolute force on the field, but he would have been so much more valuable 10 years ago. You know, Dexter Lawrence is a fine player. He's probably going to be a good player, but what he does well, and that is stopping the run and being a 340-pound mammoth in the middle of the field, it's a little outdated, and I philosophically don't agree with that type of pick. We saw this last year when the Bucs early on in the draft picked Vita Vea as their first selection. Same type of players, 6'4", 345, nose tackle. And there's some speculation, can he add some value in the pass rush? Well, last year, he didn't add much value at all, just period. The Bucs defense was still bad, and their pass defense was terrible. And they passed on a guy, Derwin James, who just seemed like a clean-cut prospect who would just fit in today's NFL. And Derwin James was one of the best rookies in the NFL. And to compound their problems, they trade back up for DeAndre Baker. He's probably going to be a good player. He's probably going to be fine. But you're drafting for floors at the top of the draft. You're trading up for floors for players that you might like, when you could have gotten those players in the second round. Like, Rock Ya-Sin goes in the second round. Greedy Williams goes 46. I thought the Giants draft set them back 3-4 years. I'm going to be honest. And it was kind of pathetic. Yeah, I feel bad for Giants fans. You had studs. You could have had some optimism this year. You have a star, a transcendent guy in Odell. He's traded for a nose tackle and a third rounder. Like, that's what you got. They didn't do anything. They didn't draft the best players available at all in the first round. They didn't strengthen their strengths, and you could argue, what really are their strengths as a team right now? They're kind of middle of the road or deficient in pretty much all of their major units. And they didn't cover up their weaknesses. Like, the right side of their O-line was atrocious last year. And, Saquon produced regardless, but Eli was a statue back there, and he's going to continue to be that way as he gets older. You didn't address O-line. You didn't really address D-line. You drafted Dexter Lawrence, but we don't know if that's going to pan out. You could have come away with like Josh Allen or Ed Oliver or some defensive stud at 6. The Oakland Raiders didn't botch the draft as much as I think the Giants did, but I just also had the same issue with what their drafting philosophy was. So they sucked this year. They basically cleaned house, getting rid of Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack, who Khalil Mack's one of the best players in the history of the sport. He's an absolute monster. He's going to go down as a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a gold jacket guy, and you want those guys to retire with your franchise. And as a result, they traded him to the Bears, who went 12-4 this year. They didn't think the Raiders did not think that the Bears were going to go 12-4. The Raiders thought that they were going to have high picks. The Raiders thought that they were going to have top 15 picks from that Bears trade in multiple years. But that wasn't the case, and their first pick was 24. And at pick 24, they draft Josh Jacobs, who is a good running back. He's the best running back in a weak running back class. So I don't exactly know what that says. Is he a good character guy? I don't know, probably. But you're drafting a position that is increasingly becoming less valuable with a first-round pick that you got from trading a Hall of Fame pass rusher. And you draft a low-ceiling pass rusher at pick 4. You don't even attempt to get the next Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack as an individual last year, despite missing games with an injury, almost had more in sacks than the entire Raiders team. I'm not joking. 35 sacks is considered about average in the NFL. The Raiders had 13. They had less than a sack a game. Yet, at the same time, I understand what they're trying to do. You know, you're trying to bring in Jonathan Abraham. You're trying to bring in Josh Jacobs. You're trying to bring in Clelin Ferrell, who Dabo Swinney was absolutely in love with and just gave the utmost character approval of. You're trying to change your culture. You're trying to change your losing culture. But you had 4 picks in the top 35. And that's enough draft ammo in a defensive stud-filled draft to just change your franchise. And I feel like they just eased up. They took some safe picks. And they didn't take any guys who really have high-end ceilings that can really pan out and really reward this franchise for how bad they were and the Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper trades. There were a lot of other selections I liked. I liked the Andre Dillard selection that the Eagles made. I really like pairing him with Lane Johnson. You have 2 super athletic tackles. And the Eagles are smart because not only do they understand value in this draft, they build through their lines. When they won the Super Bowl, they were 7-8 deep on their defensive line. Like, that strip sack on Brady, like, that wasn't by accident. Like, they had their D-line rotations down, and that ultimately matters. I didn't love the Rashawn Gary pick, but I understood it. I didn't love who the Texans pick at tackled, but at least they were trying to cover up their weaknesses and protect Deshaun Watson. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like or a comment in the comment section, and subscribe for future content. I won't be posting probably until after finals, which is, I get out May 10th. So I'll have some more content more regularly. Then I'm just kind of in school, final stretch. But yeah, I'll post some more content. I'll probably go back to the draft recap, but I also kind of want to get in some like basketball analysis. That's kind of my secondary sport. But I still have some like kind of just interesting, talking points that I kind of want to share about that. If you guys like the recap, I can kind of keep going, more in depth, kind of go over some more teams, but, we'll see when we get there. I will get some more videos out when I'm back. Peace.